What is going on YouTube? So we are back. The glue has set for approximately 10 minutes. I wouldn't know because I didn't start a timer. Um, you really don't need a lot of glue. I probably put too much on both, but I would rather have a little bit of extra glue than not enough glue. Oh no. Only I had some scissors. Although, yeah, I'll use the big patch. Oh, sorry about that, YouTube. I thought it might be my Amazon delivery. Speaking of the jungle and Amazon and animals, I have two things. Well, one that is here and one that is on the way to deal with my lovely furry friends living next door to me and living as vagabonds on the street, as these stray cats tend to do. So I don't understand. There's a foil, but then there's also this plastic crap. Well, I'll have to deal with the plastic crap later. Do this one first because I know this one does not want to. Actually, no. Well, I'm gonna use the other patch on this one. No, I'll use this patch. That's fine. So we're gonna push down in the middle. The tube is nice and flat. In fact, I just got an idea that I kind of like. So hold on just a couple seconds. Oh, I am the most professional videographer, am I not? But editing is just such a nightmare. If anyone's already got so much free time to waste their life watching my videos, they can handle 30 seconds of me grabbing one of my favorite prepper tools. You know, I should do a video. There's so many things I want to do a video on, so many things I want to do. And work is just running me ragged. I do not have the energy to do 4 hours of home rehab before 4 hours of work. So I'm going to put this in a book, but the paper clips just kind of will help keep it aligned correctly until I get there. Wow, I really thought I had a little more glue, but it doesn't seem to be spreading out past the edge of this. Wow, it really is tacky. Oh, there's a little bit, I guess. No, that's the other edge. So for repair number one, we have it pressed down quite firmly. I believe this plastic on the top of the patch, at least I think the foil side is the rubber side. That's what the little thing says. So we will take a lovely book with fate. Oh, my clamp. I need my clamps. Oh my gosh. So we will take the book. We will put the tire in the book because tires need to read too, right? No, because that was a very pathetic attempt at humor. We're just gonna take that like that. I kind of want a thicker book, but you work with what you got. And something a little more stiff, like this hardcover book's gonna work better for the other patch, but let's just see what we got. It's only a $6 tube these days, I guess. It used to be $3 or $4. It's funny, this thing with inflation, right? So a bicycle tire used to be $3 or $4. Let's say $3 to make the math easy. Now it's $6. So the price of a bicycle tube, rather, not tire, the tube has gone up, you would argue, 100%. So if my wages went up 100% on an hourly basis, I guess I would still be able to afford the tube similarly now to as before. But for many people, not to comment about my wages, which are none of your business, for many people, their income has not doubled over the last, 10, 15 years. I mean, I was probably buying bicycle tubes 20 years ago, and 20 years of inflation in this economy is certainly a lot of inflation. Man, I almost let it tack too long. But the point is, for a lot of people, the cost of living in literal sense, not the, finance in the economic sense where they only count this and they only count that and they adjust this and they adjust that, but the actual amount that the average American is spending every year is going up by a greater proportion at a faster rate than what they're making. And that's how you destroy the middle class. That's how you create poverty. Some people who are perhaps more ignorant think that poverty comes from a lack of character or a lack of motivation or a lack of something, right? Like, well, it must be that person's fault because why don't they just get a job? Why don't they just get a better education? Why don't they just pay their bills on time? Why don't they have better credit? Etc., right? Why don't they just fix their own life? Why should I have to pay for this? Why should I have to support this business that's failing? But the bottom line is the system is kind of screwed up to where, well, I mean, it's screwed up in a lot of ways. But economically, one of the ways that it's screwed up is that things keep getting more expensive because of a variety of reasons. And the amount that people make is not going up. So I know this looks ridiculous, okay? Why would you put an inner tube in 2 books? Well, the amount of clamping force I can get with these clamps is a lot more than just like putting a brick on it. I mean, it's probably 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds of clamping pressure versus you put a 5-gallon jug of water on something, you're still not quite there, although that would be a good substitute. So I kind of wish I had a slightly better clamping setup. I could have cut some pieces of wood and, the whole 9 yards, but we're just going to leave it there. In fact, I could probably put some air in the tire now, just because, although the glue is still relatively wet, but just out of curiosity, well, I don't want to blow these frickin' patches, but I don't think I need that much air to see if there's another leak. Yeah, I think we'll just let that out, but I am sure there's another leak in this. Oh, wait. No, that's not it. All right. Well, this was a pretty low quality video, but the point is bicycle maintenance is important. If you've never changed your own tube, I don't hold it against you. Not everyone is into working on their bicycles. Maybe you just got into riding a bike. Maybe you hadn't changed a tube in 20 years, but you should know how to change a bicycle tube. You should know how to adjust your brakes. You should know how to lubricate your chain. You should know how to take your rear wheel off. You should know how to take your front wheel off. How to adjust your brakes. One once you start, I mean, bicycles are somewhat complicated. They're not as complicated as a car, but once you get into adjusting your derailleurs and like dealing with suspension and, some of the different frame components like the head bolt and all that nonsense, I for the life of me couldn't figure out how to get this thing tightened. And I happened to be at, I don't work on bicycles for a living. I went to this like eco fair, which is kind of a lame thing, but it was a cute idea. It was a cute idea. They had some sustainable stuff there. It wasn't the biggest conference in the world or anything, but um, the point is, every little bit helps. So when a community puts together a little eco fair, it's super cute. Get the kids thinking about maybe not consuming this entire planet. I'm not a big like climate change guy, but we are polluting the atmosphere a lot. See, that's what the really interesting thing is. We got away from the pollution word and we went to this climate change word. Pollution was bad enough. I don't know why we had to get away from that word, but getting off topic. Bicycles. Know how to work on your bicycle at least a little bit. For everything you own that functions, that turns, that moves, that makes noise, I mean, if you can work on it, like if my Milwaukee drill breaks, I'm probably not going to try to fix it. Maybe I'll take it apart and, use it for some other project, but the likelihood of me, unless it's like a solder connection or something relatively simple that's obvious, I'm not recoiling the motor. I'm not rebuilding a lithium battery. There are people on YouTube that do. I have so much respect for people that really dive deep into that stuff. There's people who could probably take apart this bike and put it all back together blindfolded. I'm not one of them. But just always be working on your skills. Always be working on your skills and even refreshing skills. Like for this, my one glue is gone. But is this 99-cent store glue going to work? And if this 99-cent store glue works, in fact, I'll put it in my bicycle right now in my custom this was a battery jumper set. The battery jumper cables I got with this set were so terrible that they burned up. They just literally burned up. They got fried. So, and in fact, I remember the day that I used them, this lady in a Toyota 4Runner was helping me jumpstart my car. She was terrified that it was somehow going to damage her battery because the poor thing just wasn't knowledgeable enough to know that you really, unless you sort of short a battery wrong, even connecting a battery to a battery, for the few seconds that it takes to jumpstart your car, the chance that one of your batteries blows up is relatively low. That being said, you always want to ground the car that you're starting on the ground of the car and not the negative terminal of the bad car. But it kills me that people think that's like this order that you connect the cables is so important. And when you close the circuit's open until it's closed. So if you close it on the left, or you close it on the right, or you close it on this side of the loop, or you close it on that side of the loop, it's really not the most critical thing. People act like, which positive terminal you connect first matters. Well, there's not really a lot going on in between them when only the positive terminal's connected anyways. So, I digress. It's good to have a system. I guess the lesson in how to connect your car to jumper cables is it's good to have a system and follow a system every time. And my system, like many people's system, is good, bad, bad. Good, red, bad car. Well, I guess good, bad is the way it goes. I don't jump my car a lot. So good car, red, good car, black, bad car, ground. I guess you could say good, bad, ground. But that's not really that easy to remember, so. Well, enough of me rambling. We will come back a little later bit this evening, or maybe, probably not before work, but we'll come back a little later, and we'll check on this inner tube repair. By the way, a lot of people like to go out, and they make money and just spend gobs of it everywhere, and I can definitely attest that, in a former life, I used to do that. In fact, I'm going to put this in the next video. I'm going to make another video because I want to kind of separate this out. But thanks for watching YouTube, and we will see you next time.